just got hit with the second oldest trick in the book. So, thought I forgot my headphones. Only drove about 1 minute. I don't want to sit on the treadmill for 45 minutes without, music or video. Let's do a quick turnaround, park. They're in my pocket. So I guess if I would have thugged it out and said, you know what, no headphones for me, I can handle it, I would have been rewarded with them. But that's something to think about for another day. But yeah, this is it. This is the last lift of the year. Technically, I'm going to work out tomorrow, and that will be the 31st. But for the sake of the statement, this is my last workout of the year. Not super flashy, just hamstrings and some cardio, not including the cardio that I did earlier today, just 45 minutes on the treadmill. And I actually backed the speed down a little, 5 kilometers per hour, not 5.5, at 5% incline. Really not wild. Like, the difficulty of cardio is sort of a kind of not two-edged sword, but it's imagine like some kind of Chinese proverb where the difficult part actually isn't the hard part, it's just doing it that's the hard part, because if I'm being honest, anybody could sit and pedal and get their heart rates at 130 for 30 minutes. Like, in terms of just actual objective difficulty, not really that hard. The tricky part is saying, okay, I'm sitting on my phone, laying in bed, or like I'm just chilling or just whatever. The hard part is, okay, let's go from chilling to being slightly more active. Oh, that's a hard sell. That's a hard sell for most, and I can understand it. We're as far as we know currently, the most advanced organisms in the frickin' universe, and we use that to our probably to our disadvantage a little by making the most addictive thing in the freaking world, our phones. And it makes it pretty cool to just sit and just look at this and do nothing else. So to that I say, just do that while you do your cardio. It makes the time pass so much quicker. And it's kind of like a justification, we're kind of treating ourselves like a 5-year-old, but like a justification for some screen time, because it's like, what else are you supposed to do? For a while I was actually pretty productive with the cardio, because what I would do was I would record the workout video on my phone. So all the video and the clips were just on my phone, and I would edit it on CapCut and then just do that during cardio the next morning. So I'd get the video edited, posted, upload everything during cardio. So that was actually a really efficient use of the cardio time. Like, not even just playing on my phone wasting time, but actually doing something. Ever since I switched to the real camera, like actual 4K, XAVC, whatever, your phone can't handle it. Phones aren't tough enough to compute regular, like, full-on camera video footage. So I got to actually sit down on my computer and look at it on the big screen and everything. But just keep that in mind, Did you spend more than 30 minutes on your phone today? And not on, like, Google Sheets because you were working. Like, just doing nothing, which, whatever, I'm not judging, I do it too. But if you did, I don't see the argument against throwing some cardio in the mix. The down payment of doing it is far exceeded by the benefits afterwards. So that's my little cardio rant to start or to finish off the year. Look, man, your screen time is probably at 4 hours minimum of Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, every combination of those kind of top 3, whatever, And honestly, 4 hours is probably low, not to pry into your personal data or anything, but I wouldn't even want to post my screen time because it's gross and I'm trying to work on it. So just keep that in mind, man. It's an easy ad just to pedal for 45 minutes. And sometimes you get into a zone, and I swear cardio is done like that. Like, my bike in the basement at my house, I actually set a timer on my phone because I'd be pedaling and the bike would read 45 minutes. And in my mind, I'm like, there's no way that was 45 minutes. this thing must be reading like faster time than normal, because there's no way that felt like 20 minutes, you know. So if you ever have that feeling, it's nice, you know. It's nice to pull your hoodie off the timer and have it see, you know, either just 1 minute away from your end goal, or, you know, 2 minutes after you've even done a little extra, you know. So just keep that in mind. That would never hurt anyone to add 30 minutes of cardio in per day. If anything, the cumulative results would be probably decently dramatic. You know, not world changing, but world improving. You know, if everybody got some cardio in their routine. But that, I won't talk about that anymore. No more. So plan for today, or tonight rather, and this is after having not exactly a loose calorie day, but a little bit looser. You know, I had a few extra 100 grams of carbs yesterday, so instead of my 2,500 calorie goal, I was at 3,100. So actually, no, I was at 3,300. So that's, an extra 200 grams of carbs. And then today, I cracked a little bit. Pizza was for dinner. So Sam had a slice. Sam had 2 slices. You know, so nothing wild, but those are calories that I'm going to count. I'm going to plug those into my calorie tracker app and, you know, just not hold myself accountable per se, but I guess that would be accountable, like in a very objective sense. So I know what my calorie intake was, and then I'll know what my, you know, regular morning weight was tomorrow. But I don't mind going a little over intake wise yesterday and today. Like, I don't feel like I'm moving backwards, because I think I may be in need of a rest day. Like, I can tell, and it's kind of just because these last couple of days we've been running around a little bit extra, more than my normal, just like routine. So that could play into it just a little bit. But yeah, I think a rest day is going to be in order. And technically, if I took one tomorrow, I'd be taking a rest day on the last day of the year, which, you know, kind of makes me feel like a punk. But I'll see how I feel. You know, tomorrow's going to be a little bit of a travel day too after the flight, and it's going to be chest. Yeah, this is a combination that has gotten me hurt a couple times. The day after traveling, not really eating enough or drinking enough, and then just kind of being a little bit extra. Like, I don't think not to say regular people, but I definitely think that anybody who's really into the gym and maybe is a little bit heavier, like muscle-wise, I think they notice just like an inflammation and like a water fluctuation change from flights way more than normal people. So that's usually a combo where I don't remember. I could find the video, because I am like, I don't know. I don't remember exactly when it was. But I had just gotten home from a flight at like 9, and it wasn't like a quick, like 2 hour. Like, this was like, you know, we left at noon, so we'd been kind of flying around. It definitely didn't get enough food. Recovery was a little off, and I come in to do chest. I decided to do a late night chest day, and I tweak my left pec where I've pulled it before. And I kind of knew I probably should have taken a rest day and just like got a good night's sleep, come back the next day stronger. But in my head, I'm like, man, fuck that, I'm gonna hit it. And I paid the price a little bit, you know. So it kind of, I want to like ride the line, you know, because there is a point where a rest day is necessary, but there's also a very large area where you might like want to take a day off, or you might think like, okay, yeah, I'm feeling a little, this is my least favorite mentality that I hear. Oh, dude, you had a really good workout yesterday. You can chill today. You went really hard. Now you should just relax and take your foot off the gas, you know? Like, the idea that having a few good workouts justifies slacking off, I mean, I guess in a way, I see the logic. But if I want to be someone who kills it, and if I like to get after it and bring it, why would I want to take a day off? The whole point is to keep going harder and getting further and like enjoying the process of it, you know? Like, it's not something to turn off or to take a break from. So I guess that's going to be on an individual basis, of course. You know, everybody's got their own mentality about training or different values, you know? Like, a lot of guys or maybe not a lot, but I know there's a good percentage where people want to, purely reap the physical health benefits of the gym. Like, yeah, my doctor said I got to work out. I come in 3 days a week. I do a full body, something or other, and then I want to get out of here. Like, a lot of people hate the gym, but they still come in to, get after it, and they're responsible, and then they want to leave, So that's a very different perspective on training than someone like me, where, I want to go nuts and, like, really freaking push the envelope. So I'm not trying to vilify a rest day, but if you're a little more on my side of the fence when it comes to training, where you want to, like, I don't even think like I'm trying to hold myself to a higher standard than anybody else, because who cares? But I feel like I want, like, I don't know, because it's not like I just only want the end result. Because if you gave me a button to press that said, okay, you can fast forward your physique in time 5 years, but you never get to train again and you never work out again ever, that wouldn't be an instant press. Because, like, the point of the gym isn't just like walking around with a build. The point's a little more working toward it. So is that just a cope because we live in the real world and we have to work for it and it can't just be like instantly handed? Maybe. But yeah, man, I don't want to take it easy. I can't exactly explain, my deepest conscious explanation for why, but yeah, slacking when it comes to the training, at least. Oof. What a freaking turnoff. But let's get some hamstrings done. I'm going to pedal on the bike for 45 minutes. Or no. Step on the treadmill for 45 minutes. And then we'll just end up back in here. So let's get the last lift of the year freaking started. There we go. Yeah, so not much to discuss when it comes to hamstrings. So I'm just going to overlay the hamstring curl sets onto the Car Talk back. I saw a comment that said that sometimes that would be a good idea. Plus, all I did was like 6 sets of hamstring curls, and that was the end of it. Nothing super crazy flashy. If I'm trying to grow my hamstrings, I'm going to be doing really like hardcore hamstring dedicated days. I'm talking like legit hip hinging, heavy curls, lighter squeezing curls, a good combo of, basically everything I have at my disposal. But just to maintain them, including all the cardio as well, the curls work, and I've got my own anecdotal evidence that that's worked out decently well for me, from all the times I've dieted before, and even, taking it as far as to a prep level. So yeah, man, don't overthink it. But I was about to say something now, I totally forget. But yeah, year is officially over, and that was the most treadmill that I've done for a couple of actually months. I was doing a lot of treadmill during last prep because I would do half bike, half treadmill, just to keep it interesting. But this year I've kind of been sticking just to the bike. I might add some treadmill in there as well too, because it's kind of a good combo, but it does add up a little bit on my knees, which I know you say like, well, that you're not even doing anything that crazy. All you're doing is walking on the treadmill. That's not that wild. It adds up, man. If you're doing upwards of an hour and a half or an hour and a half minimum per day, that kind of repetitive, just little walking motion, and the treadmill is a little unnatural compared to regular walking too, just like slightly. I do notice it a little. Whereas the bike is absolutely zero impact. Plus, it's much easier to play on my phone when I'm just sitting pedaling on the bike because my torso doesn't move. All I do is sit still while my legs do all the work. But I'm hoping that this week up in Colorado has translated, well, 6 days, but close enough. But I'm hoping that it's translated to a little bit of a cardio boost, because I just looked it up just for not even shits and giggles, just so I could know. But Ohio is about 1,000 feet above sea level on average. It's pretty flat. It's basically the same thing. But up here in this city in Colorado, it's about 9,000 feet. So that's a difference of about 27% lower oxygen, says the Google AI, like initial search term. So whether that is like perfectly accurate, it's got to be something like that. And I definitely noticed a little bit of a hit cardio wise, not so much during like just the straight up pedaling, but during like actual hardcore sets. I did catch myself breathing a little harder than normal, and I'm not doing like insane squats right now, but if I was, I'm sure I'd be feeling it. Last time I was in Colorado, it was about 2 years ago. I was working at an Anytime over in Evergreen, I think, and I was bulked. I was like 260 something, I was probably like upward 250, maybe mid 250s or something would be my bulked weight, and it hit me. That is for freaking sure. Fully bulked, not as much cardio. Like, I could definitely tell the elevation was a little bit of a bigger problem, bulked than cut. And if doing, those 45-minute sessions on the treadmill, which, treadmill's whatever, had me feeling pretty decent, well, guess what? I'm hoping that by the time I get a little oxygen boost from going back home, maybe I'll kind of have reaped some rewards that I didn't exactly plan on by coming up here. At least in terms of making the cardio seem easier to do. But yeah, that's putting me in a good spot. I just took a picture of my leg, just like laying in bed this morning, doing like a little. This is like, if you know anybody who competes, or if you've ever competed, this is a classic picture that guys will take where they're just laying down and they kind of do like a little bit of a quad flex, separating each head of the long head, the short head, the teardrop, everything. And it did not look that different than the picture I took morning of the Arnold, or morning of check-ins for the Arnold last year. I'm still not as lean as that. There's still some room to go, but I'm definitely ahead of the game for me, or at least I'm on track for today, or for this prep. Sometimes it's kind of strange to compare yourself to where you were before, because you might be just holding water in different places or whatever. But yeah, all I can say is I am very satisfied and happy that I started dieting down a bit earlier this time, going a little bit longer, smoother, and steadier, rather than having to crash instantly like I did last time. Like, I felt like I really had to up my game around that 12-week mark earlier this year, whereas right now, 66 days away, I've got a little timer or a little countdown app on my phone that's always on the home screen to just tell me that I'm feeling good. I'm feeling rather freaking good. So what that tells me, in terms of my overall leanness and dieting and cardio, is things are about in equilibrium. Things are about where they should be. Me and AWA are living in harmony right now. I'm doing my activities, I'm getting my food in, I'm still training hard, and I'm enjoying the process of doing so, right? And that's freaking solid for me. So that's just more motivation to keep locking it in and to maintain that momentum, so that by the time competition shows up, which isn't my grand point of training, but for the next few months, it is kind of the pinnacle sort of thing I'm trying to focus on. Well, I know I'm going to come in shape, and that's what I'm really concerned about. Like, there's guys where even if they're not gonna, and I'm talking about like the actual hardcore pro guys who compete a lot, like they're seasoned, even if they're not the guy to pick to win, there's a lot of different mentalities when it comes to the competing. Like listening to a Tom Platz talk about competing, all I ever heard him, or from the clips that I've seen, was he wanted to put on a good show, right? Same with Lee Priest. Like, they want to come in, they want to, do as well as they can do, they want to perform, and that's the shtick of it, right? Like, obviously, it's still a competition, but they looked at it more as a bodybuilding show. Like, they wanted to show what they could present. And I align with that a little more, because that's sort of the point. Like, there's always somebody bigger than you. There's always somebody further ahead of you, more advanced than you, whatever. Some guys are going to take that with like a Mamba mentality, where they're like, man, I got to get that shit. Or whatever version of that you could think of. And, you know, sometimes I think like that. Like, I know when I'm doing my cardio, I'm imagining like, yeah, it's going to be in shape. I'm going to be... But at the end of the day, I feel like I just want to do well, you know, and well means well for me. Like, I want to come in looking crazier than I ever have, bigger, leaner, everything, because that's what I want to do personally anyway. I want to keep progressing size-wise. Like, as much as now, you know, I'm essentially not even essentially, I'm a full-fledged freaking bodybuilder. The point isn't to get any kind of trophy or to get any kind of placing. For me, the point is to walk around the size of a pro bodybuilder, you know? Like, that's the point. Just because that's cool for me. I get to enjoy that every freaking day. Like, the last competition season earlier this year was sweet, but you know, it's nothing compared to just walking around like a beast. At least for me, because that's how I'm wired, you know? So that's kind of the point there. But yeah, so another 2, yeah, I'd say functionally another, yeah, so 60 days. 66 is what's 66? That's 9.5 weeks. Yeah, I'd say I've got functionally 8 more weeks of dieting, maybe 8.5 of dieting worth of actual fat loss progression, getting leaner. And that last week beforehand, there's no change in it. Nobody saves a prep. Nobody completely turns their diet around with a 1 week notice, you know. So by the time February 20 whatever comes around, I don't know if it's going to be the 28th or the 27th or the 29th, whatever. By the time it's 1 week out, I'm going to be where I'm going to be. You know, there's no secret sauce of like, okay, if I get in the sauna for 3 hours and then the ice bath for 2 hours, it's going to rapidly triple my lipolysis, and then I'm going to get 4 times as lean. Like, there's no cramming it like that, you know. So I'm going to make sure that these next 8.5 weeks or so count, that I continue toward my end goal of getting peeled like a gosh dang potato, and then just see what happens. You know, that's by then it's totally out of my control, you know, so I'll just make sure I'm as freaky as can be. But yeah, I got an early morning tomorrow, and tomorrow very well may be a rest day. If it is, then that just means that I'm going to post the chest workout that I do after on January 1st as like, so there won't be like a missed video or anything. Like, January 1st chest day will just be the first day of the year, but I'll see how I feel. But just by, you know, kind of historically speaking, I think I'm due. But if I wake up tomorrow feeling like a beast, come home from the plane, I'm like, man, I'm getting a chest pump right now. Well, then guess what? That's not a problem either, you know. So I've got no way to lose in this situation. That's a good feeling to have. That's for sure. So I'm gonna get all my stuff packed up, get this little last video of the year edited, uploaded, and then, you know, get the computer in the backpack. And shit, I guess I guess I'll see you next year.